See, here in SHRM, we will be concentrating more on the policy matter, the HR policies, because it is directly connected to all other functions of HRM. Okay, so I just told you, no, like that there are some obstacles for performance management. The major classification is can't do problem or won't do problem. But this particular diagram represents many things. See, look at that. The pictorial representation says the attitude of individuals. So look at that. The bottommost step, he says that I won't do it, which means that he knows how to do it, but he sits idle and projects that I won't do it. Then look at the next person. He says I can't do it. So I'm not able to do it, where he needs some training process. Then the next person actually he stands up. Actually, look at the body posture. He says that I actually wanted to do it. I'm wishing to do it. Then there comes a desire, or there is an attitude change. Okay. Then what happens is the next step, in the fourth step, they are asking, how do I do it? How can I accomplish it? Then the other step only, I will try to do it. So they are trying, putting effort. So he is climbing up the stairs. Then he understands that he can climb from one step to the other step. So he says, I can do it right now. And finally he says I will do it. So look at the confidence level. Won't becomes will. Finally, success is yes, I have done it. So for this particular procedure, this is the mindset of any individual, but there should be a drive which will never give room for all these steps. If you keep on giving steps to individuals and they are not going to do it, then the company will run on loss. So what is that we are going to do is, like, you are going to give out stringent thing to them, which is called as policy. See, come on, man, this is the policy which the company has got. So during the orientation program itself, I will talk about the policies. What does the HR policies and procedures do? What is the role of HR policy and procedure? So it is going to communicate, it is directly going to influence the performance of people. So what happens is HR policies and procedures will communicate about values and expectations. Then it is going to establish a set of rules or standards and help management to make decisions that are consistent, uniform, and it is predictable. Then it motivates team members also. Then it is going to promote effective management without the constant intervention of the top management. It is in compliance with the legislation. So they will ask you, actually, if there is a problem between the employer and the employee, if there is a legal problem, what will happen is, the first thing what they will ask is, did you actually inform them? Did you tell them this is what is expected from you? Have you jotted down in terms of points in black and white? So for that only, we will have something called as policies and procedures. This is the best device which will implement the best practices. So we can understand that the company is looking at us with all these things. This is going to improve your employer branding. A company which has got good policies and procedures will shine well. If you take Maharatna public sector organizations or many MNCs or successful corporates, you could see they are coming out in a massive way. Okay, so it also improves the employer branding. Okay, so you clearly lay down HR policies and procedures. In many of the companies, they keep it very confidential, in the sense they will not put it in the website and all. But only after becoming the employee, it becomes a confidential document shared in the intranet to them. Okay. So in the orientation program, the first thing after your recruitment and selection, during the orientation program, you have to actually make this as a ready reckoner to individuals. You have to give them, explain them the content of the policies what you have got. Okay, so how should be the policy and procedure drafted? It should be ethically drafted. It should have some fairness. So ethics means doing right and avoiding the wrong. It should have some consistency, continuity. It should be consistent. The continuity should be there. Then it should have some confidentiality. You should do it without delay, and there should be a framework for this, and you have a mechanism for this, and the right to be accompanied also should fall in line. The personnel policies, procedures, and programs, actually, they are guide to actions. They are the guides for actions now. Okay, so they will give you what to do and what not to do. They give you some standards or the parameters based on which the decisions are reached. So until otherwise you know the standards, what happens is you cannot achieve it. Okay, standards and parameters have to be done. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yeah. So these parameters should be there based on which the decisions are reached. So now please take this down. Types of personnel policies. We classify personnel policies into 3 different types. You can use this in all your case studies. If at all you got previous model, if it is not online examination, then you will be having the conventional pattern of examination. So for which you have to draft like this. Types of personnel policies. Originated policies, appealed policies, imposed policies. So originated policies are done from the top level. There's a guide to execute the key at various levels. Appealed policies to meet the requirement of that particular situations alone, which is not covered in the original policies. Imposed policies are which comes from the pressure from the environment. Okay, so supposing there is economic crisis. So what is the environment? Actually, we have got political environment, legal environment, social environment, cultural environment, and economic environment. See what happens? The legal environment. So now look at we can even have a physical environment, health environment, like since all the companies are affected because of this. The government has imposed lockdown for quite some time, and it has impacted the business. So, and likewise, the trade organizations and the unions, all the professional bodies will also come to certain decisions. So, based on that, we will have to formulate some policies. Okay, so these are the types of policies which a company has to draft and keep it ready. Sometimes the policies could be made flexible, like you will write one statement saying that we will abide by the rules and regulations of this trade association. One line they will finish it off. If that trade association changes its conditions, then automatically your policies also will change. So you have to refer to that. So since if it is going to be a dynamic one, you cannot write it in words for your company. So if it is based on changes, imposed policies particularly will depend on the external bodies. So general policies are the basic philosophies what you have got from the top management. Okay, so quality is our policy. Customer is the important person. He has to be attended, and we have policies of exchange. We have policy for credit. We have policy for giving bonus to you. So likewise, you can tell many things. Okay, they are general policies. Then specific policies. These policies cover specific issues such as hiring, rewarding, and bargaining. Uh, for any issues, like for particularly I'm calling for a person now. So for that particular call for alone, I can devise a policy, and then after that I can reframe it. And then there are return policies, like you have to spell it out if it has got a legal connotation. So they are inferred from the behavior of members. Return policies: if this particular person behaves like this, I will do this out. Okay, so this sort of policies are written very stipulate. For example, smoking is highly prohibited. If a person smokes, suppose your company is something which has got its operations with very very substance that which will catch fire easily, then you have to say that this is smoking completely prohibited zone. If someone is not following that, then I will give them a censure first, and the second step, I will suspend him from the organization. That has to be written properly. What is the advantages, and why should we actually talk about the policy? What are the advantages of having it? So that you have to actually specify. The thing is, delegation, uniformity will be there, better control, standards of efficiency, and you get confidence and speedy decisions. Okay, are you writing this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, write this also. Characteristics of good policy. Characteristics of good policy. See, now this is the one important thing you need to know, the difference between, you want to see full screen. Yeah, difference between policy and procedure. See, policy is, it is a statement which addresses issues that will affect the organization's mission or the operation decision. Okay, but the procedure will tell the member how to do it. So that is the key word. Okay, policy will talk about the way to attain the mission or the decision. Procedure will tell how to do it. What is the procedure for doing it? அப்படின்னா கேட்பாங்க. Okay, so how do you carry out the policy? Policy carry out பண்றதுக்கு steps வேணும் நமக்கு. Steps are called as procedures. Okay, then the definition which we have already studied is a formal statement of a principle or a rule that members of an organization must always follow. So policy gives you answer for the question what should I do, and then procedure gives you the answer for the question how. Okay, so these are instructions which is logical and it is numbered step by step, it will tell you. Okay, then how to write HR policies and procedures? Please take it down. Are you there, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Have you finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Okay, I think we can stop with this. can actually quit. Based on the revised schedule, I'll meet you in the next class. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.